Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Once again, it's time for another episode of Dadbod to Daddy training. Today was shoulder day, and what I did, because I'm going to do a standing press, because people are going to say, oh, reduce the weight so you can get the lockout at the top, you're going too heavy. That's the empty bar. So just so that shows what my range of motion is, and it took me a year of mobility to get to where I could do that. So again, due to some old scar tissue and inflammation, other stuff in my shoulders from overuse previously, I couldn't even raise my arms over my head a year ago. So this is where I'm at, but I'm not going to skip out overhead pressing and getting all the benefits because of that. Because realistically, all the front delt work and the bit of upper chest and all that, we're getting that at the bottom. So I'm just going to work with it. I'm going to work with the range of motion I have because it feels good. I feel a ton of shoulder. My delts feel good on it. Everything feels good on it. And it's a great way to start my shoulder days. So I'm just going to work with what I have and just continue to get stronger at it. And I feel like this is a point I have to remind a lot of lifters, particularly middle-aged and older lifters. You know, they will skip exercises because they don't have the range of motion or ability to do them in the exact perfect full range of motion, when they'll skip perfectly good exercises because of it. And my point is, use what you have. Work with what you have. Don't skip out on a good exercise because of that. So in this case, again, great front delt exercise. And the main reason I really do it is honestly because I want my incline to go up, and it carries over to the incline. And incline improves my bench. And all of that will make my pecs bigger. So for me, that's one reason I started here. But keep in mind, the front delts get very de-emphasized in my shoulder day, because I do 3 sets for that. Because again, standing presses, overhead presses are primarily anterior deltoid. So then I do 6 sets for the side delts, 6 sets for the rear delts. Now keep in mind, these other exercises do work all the heads. But again, I'm just biasing the entire back half of it. So upright rows. The trick with these, lean forward a little bit, make sure you get the deep stretch at the bottom. Don't half wrap the bottom. Bring it up as high as your shoulder range of motion allows comfortably. But the real trick, that slight forward lean I do in it, puts more of the shift towards the posterior side of the deltoid. Okay? So that, in other words, we're making sure those side delts and everything get hit more. Because if you stay perfectly upright on these, we come back over to it being a potentially very anterior deltoid dominant exercise, which is going to work the front delts anyways. But this way you get a little more side and rear. Some people say, well, we can grip them wider for that. Yes, we absolutely can. Gripping wide is a great strategy also for that, but I'm more comfortable with the closer grip. For me personally, it just feels better, so that's why I go with it. I prescribe it different ways for different clients, but it also gets a little more upper trap when you go in closer. So for me, because I'm not going to do any direct trap work, I want to really focus on the delts, because all my delt work will hit the traps. I'm not going to worry about it. So again, that'll just give me some extra work there. All right, then I like to do, up next, lateral raises. All right, same kind of thing for these. If we're trying to make them a little more side delt and rear delt, and this is a very side delt dominant exercise. All right, lean forward just a hair, so that again, we get the rear delt a little more. And do your best to don't let the thumb lead. So try to, if you can, turn the pinky up just a little on the way up. And I used to believe that crushed the glenohumeral joint, but I've seen more and more data showing it really doesn't unless it gets potentially quite extreme. So the main thing is, if you try to turn the pinkies up just a hair, it will give you a more balanced approach. Because usually the higher the pinky, the more rear delt, the higher the thumb. So again, the amount of pronation may hit the front delts more. So again, what I'm trying to do here, because my front delts get a ton of work with overhead pressing, they get a ton of work with the incline benching on chest days. I really want to double down on just capping my delts. So a lot of this stuff, I want to make sure that side head is being hit with multiple exercises, right? Notice my delts get the most complex training out of anything right now. Okay, it's the largest, most complex muscle in the upper body. It's the one most responsible for aesthetics. So as I continue to get leaner, because I'm still going to keep slow cutting, as I continue to get leaner, I want those delts to be rounder. Okay, it's going to help a lot just in getting the look that I want. Again, as someone who comes from a strength background, I have a lot of aesthetic stuff to fix. So I do 3 sets of that. I got at least 10 reps on all the sets. Then I like to do these rear delt raises. So I like to do these seated. Yes, I know they're still pretty fast because this is an exercise. It's almost impossible not to cheat with these unless you just use like 1 pound. So what I do with this, by getting on here, I at least can take some of the body swing in English out of it. So what I do with that, I do try to turn the pinky up on those the best that I can. So again, really hit the posterior delt. But I want people to keep in mind all the rear delt exercises that have been studied all hit the traps. They all hit the side delts when it's looked at in the lab. So keep in mind, we're still working all of those muscles, even though these are small isolation movements. All of these other muscles are actually being worked, right? Including the side delt, including the traps, all that stuff. So, I mean, realistically, you know, I would say to people, a heavy focus on rear delts can go a long way just because of that. Plus, the other thing is I don't want to do shrugs because I do back and stuff the next day, back and biceps. And I may need to switch these days around, right? I'm almost considering taking back and biceps to Wednesday. And then doing this on Thursday. The only problem is I like to deadlift on Tuesdays. So I don't know that doing all my back work the day after deadlifting is ideal either. So it's just stuff that you have to balance out with all of it. But I ended up doing 15 total sets for delts today because, again, we have 3 completely different heads that need to be hit. So I finished off with the band pull-aparts. I've been doing just sometimes 1 set of these. I went ahead and did 3 hard sets of these to finish off. Again, it's great for shoulder health. I need the extra stuff for my shoulder health because of that history of overuse, because I don't have the best ranges of motion still. Anything I can do for this is going to help. So it's stuff I'm going to continue to do. And I want to be clear, I am not injured on any of this right now. So this is just purely range of motion limitations in my shoulders. I have no pain. I have no inflammation. They feel perfectly fine. So just an FYI. Then, of course, I do my hanging leg raises at the end of every workout. Why? This helps with my shoulder mobility, for one, because of the hanging, right? And it forces me into a little bit of a stretch like that. Because, again, you guys notice I can't get my arms completely up overhead. Okay, so stuff like this can help. The pullovers help. So all of this stuff helps. So I treat it not just as an ab exercise, but it also helps my grip training, and it helps with my shoulder health and range of motion over time. And I feel like if I keep working it and keep working these things and keep doing stuff like those and the pullovers and all of those things, that eventually I may be able to fully lock out an overhead press. But it's going to take a lot of work. This is basically a year to get where I am now. Again, it's just stuff that happens as we get older. But overall, very happy with today's workout. Shoulders felt great during it. No pain and no discomfort. Just a really good pump, really good burn. I felt all 3 heads of the delt get work effectively. Felt my upper traps. So good workout. I'm very happy with it. So I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys and gals next time.